Today on MTG Unpacked, we're going to take a look at how I did at the Theros Beyond Death pre-release event over the weekend. So I had an absolute blast, even though I didn't do that great. And later on in the video, we'll be cracking this pack I got for the buy I had for one of the rounds. So let's move this aside. And if you're new to pre-releases, we'll take a look at this little thing here. Life is short, but death is shorter. And we've got Elspeth there, escaping the underworld. So you get this little helpful tip sheet here. So you can increase your chances of having the right cards by building a 40 card deck. So most decks will have 2 colors, 15 to 18 creatures, 5 to 8 other spells. You want to make your mana curve look something like that. So that's the costs of the various cards. And then 17 lands. So I actually did a bit more than that. I think I did 43. So 40 is the minimum, but you can definitely go above that. So let's take a look here. And it's been a good long while since I actually participated in a pre-release event. Probably War of the Spark, I'm going to say. So if you want to see my deck tech and summary of the event, I'll pop a link up in the corner to that playlist. So you'll see that for all the different pre-releases I've been to over the years. Okay, so we're going to run through the cards that I did not put in my deck first, and then we'll see if there's anything jumps out at you. Leave a note in the comments, any cool combos or things you would have done differently. So we start off with red here, and I've sorted these by low mana cost to highest in each color. So we've got Infuriate, Blood Aspirant, Thrill of Possibility, Oread of Mountain's Blaze, Omen of the Forge, Underworld Breach, and this one was tempting. It gives your other cards escape, but I wasn't sure that. I thought that might be a bit of a hard thing to pull off in pre-release. Could be wrong. Next we got a Stampede Rider, so I got 2 of those. Aspect of Manticore, Flummox Cyclops, Wrap in Flames, and if I'm not mistaken, also got a foil there. That was pretty tasty. Perforos's Intervention. And moving on to black. Now you might notice something. There's a lot of red and black cards. Normally I would play that color combo at pre-release or just decks in general, but not this time, and you'll see why in a few moments. So moving on to black, we have Cling to Dust, Fruit of Tyzerus. I got 2 of those. Maya's Grasp, Temple Thief. So 2 of those guys. Elspeth's Nightmare, so this is a cool saga. Drag to the Underworld, Nyxborn Marauder, Farika's Spawn, Aspect of Lamprey, and that is some creepy artwork there. Final Death, and not 1, not 2, but 3. And also I got 2 of the Blight Breath Katobalpa, I think that's how you say it. So it did not actually use those guys. Moving on to green, there's a bit less in the next colors here because that's actually what I used. We've got Cetessan Training, Nessian Hornbeetle, Omen of the Hunt, nice foil there. Relentless Pursuit, I got 2 of those. Inspire Awe, Eidolon of Philosophy, so moving on to blue here, get some card draw there. Glimpse of Freedom, Riptide Turtle, Medomai's Prophecy, nice artwork on that one. Starlit Mantle, I included 1 of these in my deck, so you'll see that later. Omen of the Sea, Vexing Gull, this guy made it into the deck. I just put 1 in there. Alirius Enraptured, Whirlwind Denial, and my promo was a Wave Break Hippocamp. And that, I think... Oh, no, we're not done yet because I've got the rest of the cards over here. I was wondering where the other one went. Okay, so we've got another Wave Break Hippocamp, just 1 of those. Nyxborn Seaguard. And moving on to white, Pious Wayfarer, Flicker of Fate. Nyxborn Corsa, 2 of those. Heliod's Pilgrim, Glory Bearers, Captivating Unicorn, so I got 2 of those guys. And then multicoloreds, we have Slaughter Priest of Mogus in the Rakdos colors, yes. Minotaur Shaman, Devourer of Memory. And then the colors here, we have Mirror Shield, Altar of the Pantheon. I actually put one of those in my deck, that was pretty handy. Field of Ruin. And then we've got a bunch of other stuff here. So we've got some nice plains, mountain, forest, a couple of islands. No foils, unfortunately. Tokens, we've got a wall, human soldier, a goat. This thing is hilarious. Zombie, human soldier, and that is it. Alright, so we'll set that stuff aside. Got a nice green spin down, green and white. Maybe it was a bit of a subconscious hint there at what I eventually chose. Before we dig into the deck proper, going to count out the lands. So 7 forests, 5 islands, and 5 plains. So I think that was about right. There was only one game I didn't have the mana I needed. That was a bit awkward, but most of the time I had everything in order. Okay, now the deck. We're going to start off here with green. Elysian Caryatid, creature plant, 1/1 for 2. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, add 2 mana of any one color instead. So I made sure we had a few of those creatures at the top end. And this one was handy for getting some mana fixing, so getting those different colors. And I had 2 of these, and they're also nice low-end creatures, so that worked out nicely. Return to Nature, instant for 2. Choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from my graveyard. That bottom part was very helpful, exiling one of the Titans before he could go off. Unfortunately, he went off in a different game. We got Cetessan Petitioner, creature human druid, 2/2 for 3. So when it enters battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green. Usually that didn't get me too much extra there. Nexus Wardens, creature Satyr Archer, 1/4 for 3 with reach, very handy. That means it can shoot down those or block those flying creatures. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. So I did have a couple of those enchantments. And this guy, this is actually a foil, don't know if you can tell. This was one of the things that I built the deck around. So there were really 2 cards. You'll see the other one in a minute. So this is Dryad of the Elysian Grove, enchantment creature nymph, 2/4 for 3. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Craziness, if only I had a lot more lands. So this is, I think, better in a regularly constructed deck, but still it was helpful a couple of times. And this bit's good as well. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So I thought with 3 colors, he would be a nice addition. Next up we have Nylea's Huntmaster, 4/3 for 4. Creature Centaur Shaman. So when it enters battlefield, target creature you control gets +X +0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. So that was pretty handy. And Nylea's Forerunner. Okay, so we're heading into the top end beasts here. Enchantment creature Beast, 5/3 for 5 with trample. And other creatures you control have trample. So this guy was fairly popular. I saw him in a couple of other decks. Clothas's Design, a sorcery for 6. So this is really top end. I think it only came up in 1 game. It did help me out a little bit though. Creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. Moving on to blue here. We have Starlit Mantle, enchantment aura for 2 with flash, enchant creature you control. And when it enters battlefield, enchanted creature gains hexproof until end of turn. That ability didn't really help me as much as I thought it might. But the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 was pretty handy. Getting in a bit more damage as a combat trick there. And a foil, Caliphate, Beloved of the Sea. Legendary enchantment creature, Demigod, star 3 for 3. So its power is equal to your devotion to blue. So if you're wondering what devotion is, that's come up a couple of times. So each of the, whatever the devotion color is, in the mana cost of opponents you control counts towards your devotion to that color. This one, creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent costs 1 more to cast. So that was helpful, prevented some attacks that would have otherwise occurred. This guy, he was in a couple of decks I saw. Ichthyomorphosis. Enchantment aura for 3 enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue fish with base power and toughness 0/1. So people would often flick this out and say, I'm going to fish that creature. That was quite hilarious. So you'd usually want to put it on one of those huge beasts you'd be up against. This guy, Vexing Gull, creature bird, 2/2 for 3 with flash and flying. So I am fond of putting in lots of flyers, so that's usually white and blue colors at pre-release. They can be helpful because sometimes people don't have any creatures with reach or flying, so you can just get in a whole ton of damage without them being able to stop it. This is Shimmering Chimera, enchantment creature Chimera, 3/2 for 4 with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 1 other target enchantment you control to its owner's hand. That ability wasn't that helpful, but another flyer, so I had to chuck it in there. And this guy, Thrix the Sudden Storm, legendary creature, elemental giant, 4/5 for 5 with flash and flying. So spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. That ability really didn't help me, but the flying was pretty helpful. Witness of Tomorrow's enchantment creature Sphinx, 3/4 for 5 with flying, 3 in a blue, scry 1. I think this only came up in a game or two, so that wasn't that great. Moving on to white, we have Karametra's Blessing, instant for a single white. This was a fun little combat trick. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So that ability did not really help me out much other than pumping the creature. This one I used quite a bit. Heliod's Punishment, enchantment aura for 2 enchant creature. Enters battlefield with 4 task counters on it. Enchanted creature can't attack or block it, loses all abilities and has tap. Remove a task counter from Heliod's Punishment. Then if it has no task counters on it, destroy Heliod's Punishment. So you can pretty much lock up a creature for 4 turns until you can properly remove it. This one saved my butt a couple of times. Shatter the Sky, sorcery for 4. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card. Then destroy all creatures. So a nice board wiper there. And another flyer, what a surprise. We've got Sun Mane Pegasus, creature Pegasus, 2/3 for 4 with flying, 1 in white. You can give it vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. And next up, we got some removal here. Triumphant Surge, instant for 4. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. You gain 3 life. That was pretty helpful. And Daybreak Chimera. Creature Chimera, 3/3 for 5 with flying. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to white, which I usually didn't get a discount on that because I didn't have too much white in the deck. And a nice top-end creature giant, Rumbling Sentry, 3/6 for 5. So he's pretty hard to remove with a lot of the spells. When he enters the battlefield, scry 1. And this was the other card I built around. So you might remember the Dryad, that was one of the cards. So this one, Calyx, Destiny's Hand, legendary Planeswalker Calyx, 4 loyalty for 4. Is +1. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them. Put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. A lot of times that came up empty, but I was still able to tick him up quite a bit. -3. Exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. Didn't use that at all. And -7. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. That was what I was counting on. Really, I could have cut this and not really noticed much difference. And I think, yeah, we've got a couple of colors things. Altar of the Pantheon, artifact for 3. So your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1. And you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. If you control a god, demigod, or legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. So usually I use this for the mana fixing. That helped me out quite a bit. Often I wouldn't have blue, and so I was able to Tap that for blue. And finally we have Thundering Chariot. Yes, vehicles are back. Artifact vehicle 3/3 for 4 with first strike, trample and haste. So you can crew up for 1. That means tap any number of creatures you control with total power 1 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Alright, so that is my deck. So a summary. So there were 4 rounds at the event. So as you can see, I played the Bant color combination. That's green, white and blue. Match number 1. The opponent had 4 color deck. I don't really remember much about it. There was a whole lot of different mishmash of stuff there. That led to some really grindy long games. So game number 1, I think, ran for like over half an hour. So I lost that one. It was a continual back and forth. I think I did a board wipe at one stage. So they were able to bounce back from that. And game 2 was a draw. So that game 2 was actually, I think we went into time. And so there were only like 10 minutes or so left on the clock at that point. Match number 2, played against a blue-green deck, very similar to what I had here, so they didn't have the white, obviously. So the first game, I won that one pretty handily. Games 2 and 3, unfortunately, I lost those. And then moving on, match number 3, so the opponent had Rakdos, yes, with a Titan. And that thing, I think I was able to exile it in one game. And another game, he actually came out and did a fair bit of damage. So that's the guy with the big mouth on the stomach and everything. So pretty cool. Game 1 and 2, I lost that. So the Titan actually went off in game 2. It was a very close game. I had 3 or 4 flyers out there. I could have won the game in one more turn. But alas, the Titan emerged and put an end to that. And then match 4 was the bye, which I actually got a free pack for. So at that point I was done for the day. So let me know in the comments what you think of the deck. What would you have done differently? Would you have picked a different color perhaps, or a different color combo? And let's get stuck into it here, see what I pulled. So I was tempted to open this there, but I was like, you know what? I will save this for the video. Okay, so we've got MTG Arena, a Swamp, and then we're going to slow roll it. So we'll have rare, uncommons, yep, so no foil in this one. We get Satyr's Cunning, Glory Bearers, Oread of Mountain's Blaze, Flummox, Cyclops, Indomitable Will, Elite Instructor, Venomous Hierophant, Plummet, Blight Breath, Catoblepa, there's another one of those, Chain to Memory, and that is the commons. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for more Magic the Gathering unboxings, and be sure to tap the notification bell to be notified as soon as new videos are released. And uncommons, we have Wolf, Willow, Haven, Hero of the Nyxborn, and Agonizing Remorse. And finally, the rare. Let's check it out. Ooh, that's nice. Temple of Malice. It's a land, enters battlefield tapped, and when it enters battlefield, scry 1. You can tap it for black or red, so pretty tasty. So leave a note in the comments how you did it pre-release. What was your deck like? What colors did you pick? Thanks for watching. Have a great day.